A four-stroke, also four-cycle, engine is an internal combustion (IC) engine in which the piston completes four separate strokes while turning the crankshaft. A stroke refers to the full travel of the piston along the cylinder, in either direction. The four separate strokes are termed. First, intake, also known as induction or suction. This stroke of the piston begins at top dead center, TDC, and ends at bottom dead center, BDC. In this stroke the intake valve must be in the open position while the piston pulls an air-fuel mixture into the cylinder by producing vacuum pressure into the cylinder through its downward motion. The piston is moving down as air is being sucked in by the downward motion against the piston. Second, compression. This stroke begins at BDC, or just at the end of the suction stroke, and ends at TDC. In this stroke the piston compresses the air-fuel mixture in preparation for ignition during the power stroke, below. Both the intake and exhaust valves are closed during this stage. Third, combustion, also known as power or ignition. This is the start of the second revolution of the four-stroke cycle. At this point the crankshaft has completed a full 360-degree revolution. While the piston is at TDC, the end of the compression stroke, the compressed air-fuel mixture is ignited by a spark plug, in a gasoline engine, or by heat generated by high compression, diesel engines, forcefully returning the piston to BDC. This stroke produces mechanical work from the engine to turn the crankshaft. Fourth and last stroke is exhaust, also known as outlet. During the exhaust stroke, the piston, once again, returns from BDC to TDC while the exhaust valve is open. This action expels the spent air-fuel mixture through the exhaust valve. These four strokes can also be referred to as suck, squeeze, bang, blow respectively, which can be easier to remember. Four-stroke engines are the most common internal combustion engine designed for motorized vehicles being used in automobiles, trucks, light aircraft and motorcycles. The major alternative design is the two-stroke cycle. These four strokes can also be referred to as suck, squeeze, bang, blow respectively, which can be easier to remember. Four-stroke engines are the most common internal combustion engine designed for motorized vehicles, being used in automobiles, trucks, light aircraft and motorcycles. The major alternative design is the two-stroke cycle. The thermodynamic analysis of the actual four-stroke and two-stroke cycles is not a simple task. However, the analysis can be simplified significantly if Air Standard Assumption 6 are utilized. The resulting cycle, which closely resembles the actual operating conditions, is the Otto cycle. During normal operation of the engine, as the air/fuel mixture is being compressed, an electric spark is created to ignite the mixture. At low RPM this occurs close to TDC, top dead center. As engine RPM rises, the speed of the flame front does not change, so the spark point is advanced earlier in the cycle to allow a greater proportion of the cycle for the charge to combust before the power stroke commences. This advantage is reflected in the various Otto engine designs. The atmospheric, non-compression, engine operates at 12% efficiency, whereas the compressed charge engine has an operating efficiency around 30%. A problem with compressed charge engines is that the temperature rise of the compressed charge can cause pre-ignition. If this occurs at the wrong time and is too energetic, it can damage the engine. Different fractions of petroleum have widely varying flash points, the temperatures at which the fuel may self-ignite. This must be taken into account in engine and fuel design. The tendency for the compressed fuel mixture to ignite early is limited by the chemical composition of the fuel. There are several grades of fuel to accommodate differing performance levels of engines. The fuel is altered to change its self-ignition temperature. There are several ways to do this. As engines are designed with higher compression ratios, the result is that pre-ignition is much more likely to occur since the fuel mixture is compressed to a higher temperature prior to deliberate ignition. The higher temperature more effectively evaporates fuels such as gasoline, which increases the efficiency of the compression engine. Higher compression ratios also mean that the distance that the piston can push to produce power is greater, which is called the expansion ratio. The octane rating of a given fuel is a measure of the fuel's resistance to self-ignition. A fuel with a higher numerical octane rating allows for a higher compression ratio, which extracts more energy from the fuel and more effectively converts that energy into useful work while at the same time preventing engine damage from pre-ignition. High-octane fuel is also more expensive. Many modern four-stroke engines employ gasoline direct injection or GDI. In a gasoline direct injected engine, the injector nozzle protrudes into the combustion chamber. The direct fuel injector injects gasoline under a very high pressure into the cylinder during the compression stroke, when the piston is closer to the top. Diesel engines by their nature do not have concerns with pre-ignition. They have a concern with whether or not combustion can be started. The description of how likely diesel fuel is to ignite is called the cetane rating. Because diesel fuels are of low volatility, they can be very hard to start when cold. Various techniques are used to start a cold diesel engine, the most common being the use of a glow plug.